The Boy of Willow Leaves. Once upon a time, there was an adorable girl named Yeon in a village. Yeon did not have a mother. The mother who loved Yeon died long ago, and Yeon lived with a stepmother who always hard on her. The stepmother always made Yeon to do all kinds of chores. She made her to cook and even weed, sew, and do farming. Yeon's beautiful hands became rough, and because she didn't have the time to brush her hair looked messy like a nest, though her face was still bright and beautiful. One cold winter day, her stepmother suddenly wanted to eat wild edible greens. But because it was winter, wild greens were hardly possible to be found. However, the stepmother who wanted to be hard on her told Yeon to dig up the pot herbs. With a basket, Yeon went up the mountain diligently looking for the wild greens. But the wild greens could not be found in frozen ground. There were no wild greens she was looking for, and her hands and feet were all frozen hard. Although she was afraid of being scolded, she turned back to go back home. But she was deep in the forest that she couldn't find a way out. Soon it was getting dark. As Yeon was afraid and hard for her to bear the cold, she crawled into a small space between the rocks. Though the space looked small from the outside, it was much larger inside, and it seems like warm wind was blowing. Yeon went inside further deeper. There was a huge rock that looked like a door. Yeon pushed the rock with all her strength. Finally, the rock was opened, and there was an unexpected view. Warm wind was blowing, and there was a large and a green field, and a clean thatched house was set up. Yeon rubbed her eyes to see if this was a dream. That moment, the door opened and a handsome boy came out. The boy welcomed Yeon kindly and asked, "Why did you come here?" Yeon explained him the whole story from the beginning. The boy who listened to her poor story said, "There are many wild greens here. Give me your basket, I'll get you some," and filled her basket with wild greens. "If you want to come here again," said Weeping Willows, "Yeon is here. Please open the door in front of the rock in the cave. Then the door will naturally open by itself." Yeon replied a simple word for the first time. "Thank you." Before Yeon started to leave, the boy gave her 3 bottles and said, "You need to use this bottle, so keep it well. If you pour the white bottle on the bones, new skin would grow up. If you pour the red bottle on the skin, the blood would flow in the heart. And if you pour the blue bottle, the breath of a dead person would come back. Please take it well." Yeon came down from the mountain and gave the wild greens to her stepmother. The stepmother was curious of how she got the wild greens in the winter, but she deliciously ate it. And she kept on ordering Yeon to bring the wild greens. Whenever the stepmother ordered her to bring the wild greens, Yeon went up to the mountain and found the cave. Then she chanted a spell, opened the door, met the boy, and came back with the wild greens. The stepmother became suspicious of how Yeon was always able to bring the wild greens, so she sent her on an errand and followed her. Then she saw Yeon chanting a spell in a cave and meeting a boy. When the stepmother came back home, she slapped her and shamed on her. "You girl, did you know that I wouldn't know that you were hiding and meeting a boy? I am out to get you and the boy." The stepmother left Yeon crying and went up the mountain. Then she found the cave, chanted the spell like Yeon did, and went inside. The boy was surprised to see Yeon's stepmother. "Who are you? You are not allowed to come here. Get out." The stepmother ran and began to hit the boy, and she stabbed the boy with a knife she hid in her breast. She came out the cave after she fired all the thatched house and the field. When she came back home, she ordered Yeon again to bring the wild greens. Yeon went off the mountain and chanted the spell like before in front of the rock door. "Willow Leaves, Yeon has come. Please open the door." But the door did not move. Yeon felt ominous and pushed the door with all her might. Then she saw a very terrible sight. The green field, the clean thatched house, were all burned into ashes. And beneath the thatched house, there was only the bones of the person. Yeon collapsed on the floor and started to cry. Then suddenly she remembered the bottles the boy had given her. She gathered the bones and poured the white bottle over it. The skin started to grow. After that, she poured the red bottle over the skin. Then the cold skin began to become warm as soon as the blood started to circle. Lastly, she poured the blue bottle. That moment, the boy sighed like a magic and revived. "You came back! You came back!" Yeon shedded her tears again. This time, it was the tears of happiness. The boy who came back alive saw Yeon and smiled. He said, "Yeon, I am a spirit of the willow trees from the sky. God has felt pity for you and sent me down to meet you here. Let's go to the heaven together. Let's marry as a couple and live in happiness there." Yeon, who was listening to this, felt thankful and happy that she bowed her head, and she was held in the boy's arms. Soon afterwards, the shining rainbow was steadily coming down from the sky and beautiful music was playing. Yeon and the boy of the willow leaf grasped their hands and standed on the rainbow, and they lived happily ever after in the sky.